Before this video begins, I'd like to give a huge thanks to my channel members, who you can see on screen now. Become a member by hitting the join button and get your name here among other awards today. Hello there and welcome back to some more Forza Horizon 3. Today we're continuing on Let's Play. This is episode 16. In today's episode, well, we are going to start off by taking a look at this showcase event over here that we unlocked at some point in the last episode. It's called Big Air. It is the final showcase event, I believe. And also, we're going to be starting to take a look at the street racing. You might not recognize this Toyota Supra here. However, I built this car in order to unlock the street racing portion of the game. In order to unlock the street racing portion of the game, you need to do the head-to-head races. Now, head-to-head races are incredibly boring, so I decided not to do them on camera. I did do them on the live stream that I did of the last few episodes, but for this purpose I just decided to cut them out because there's nothing really all that interesting about them. So after doing those, or more specifically after doing 50 of those, you unlock all of the street racing bits. The street racing unlocks in stages. So for example, if you complete 10 head-to-heads, you unlock the first set. Complete 25, you unlock the second set. I don't know if that's the exact numbers, but sort of going along that lines. And in order to unlock every stage of street racing, you need to do 50 of them. So I have done 50 street races, and throughout the next 4 episodes, I believe it will be, we'll be taking a look at street races in each specific section of the map. So that should be good fun. I'll be able to tell you more about that as soon as I get to this bleeding showcase event, because I was going to just do the street racing stuff today and get to the showcase event later. However, the game, because it's a bit stupid, you can only now do the showcase event. So we've got to do that before we continue on. Hopefully it won't force me to expand a festival site. I can't remember if it does or not. So I might actually be able to do the purpose of today's video and not just piss about and do the usual festival activities. But we shall see. Street racing doesn't count towards any of the festival leveling up. I believe you can get fans from street racing, but it doesn't count towards the main sort of leveling up festivals and doing the events and all the rest of it. So it's sort of its own separate little entity within the game for you to discover. Technically it's optional, but you know, you may as well do it. I believe I did the street races in the last few Horizon games, or at least in Horizon 1 I know I did them. Horizon 2, I can't remember if street racing's in that game. It might just be related to car meets or something of the sorts. I can't remember. Either way, not doing that today. Also, I didn't realise we would have to drive all this way, then hence why I was in Byron Bay. I was just going to start with the Byron Bay set of street races and knock them out from there, but again, apparently I have to do a showcase event, so it might be easier. Actually, it depends on where it puts us. If it puts us towards Byron Bay, great. If it puts us closer to the Outback, I'll do the Outback. So that is the plan for the next little while. Anyways, let's go ahead and see what Big Air is all about.
You have arrived at your destination.
Ooh. Not even a little option to choose what we're going to do here. It's just going to throw us straight into the event. I can't remember if the showcase events do that normally. It's been a while since I played. It involves a Polaris, which is always fun, and a blimp.
This is it, boss. Our big finale.
Yes, the big
Look
finale.
at the size of that thing. Have fun, yeah?
Oh, also, actually, now that I think about it, I did end up going ahead and doing some PR stunts as well while we was off camera. I had mentioned previously about wanting to get around and freestarring some of the PR stunts. So I did do a little bit of that. I can't remember why I did that, but I did a little bit of that and a few more fans. That might have been in one of the episodes. I don't remember. It's been My memory is terrible, and it has been about a week since I recorded this. I really need to remember to continue to do this. I don't know. Yeah, I spoke about it in the update video, if you want to go watch that, sort of what's going on and all the rest of it. This Polaris apparently does not have the CVT. It has a normal 6-speed transmission, which is a bit disappointing. I would have preferred the CVT model, but there you go. Also, I will say, yes, this showcase event is very, very disappointing. Sorry to ruin it for you, but considering, you know, you race a jet with a Lamborghini and race a dangling Jeep in a trophy truck and stuff like that, the final event, racing a blimp in a golf cart, is hardly the most interesting thing in the world, unfortunately, so a bit of a missed opportunity there. I guess it's just because it feels slow, and I mean, it is very, very slow. If we was to do this showcase event in a more speedy vehicle, I mean, granted the blimp would have to be something else because blimps aren't quick, but you know, something like a Lancia Delta S4 or a 205 or something like that, you know, some old Group B car, this would probably be quite a bit of fun. But the Polaris is hardly the most engaging thing in the world to pilot. Again, not particularly the quickest thing in the world. Controller is shaking like mad, which probably means it's going to need new batteries at some point during this, which is always good fun with these Horizon games. If you have any concern over battery life of your Xbox One controller, if you don't use it plugged in like I probably should, don't, whatever you do, play Horizon games, because they sap battery very quickly. The controller is basically non-stop vibrating. You can burn through a pack of batteries in about 2 days if you play Horizon enough. I speak from experience. A little bit of a slide around that corner there. Ooh. Must be very cold inside that. I mean, granted we're in Australia actually, I don't know how warm it is at the moment in Australia, but still, it must be pretty cold. I didn't even realise this was the final showcase event when I did it first time around, but yep, this is the showcase event to end them all, so from this point on we'll basically be earning fans without the help of the showcase events, although that shouldn't be too much of an issue.
Hear that? That's the sound of 50,000 fans having their minds blown. Couldn't have done it without you, boss.
So technically, this actually marks the end of the game, I guess, in terms of the... I mean, the showcase events usually represent the end of the game a fair few times in these Horizon games, so I guess this would mark the end of the story mode, and what you do next is essentially your own way. You know, you can go ahead and complete all the events or leave the game here. In theory, I believe, is what it goes for. Hey, we got a festival expansion. And from now on, you just sort of earn fans for festival expansions. Of course, no more showcase events to do. No more of anything. It's just continue to do the festival level ups, and there you go. That's just what you keep at.
Well, you did it. The biggest Horizon festival in history. Horizon Australia isn't going anywhere. There are more races and PR stunts out there, and plenty more fans to bring down under. So, what should we do next?
So yeah, there you go. There's the credits of the game. Doesn't really matter. Copyright music. Gonna skip all that. Not very good sounding copyright music either, if I do say so myself. Yeah, so technically that marks the end of the game, but not really. So, there you go. At least that gives me an idea for a clickbait title, I guess, if I remember that that's technically supposed to be the end of the game. I'll probably show the credits rolling at some other point, maybe, if I care enough.
Your majestic driving and my magnetic personality have brought in so many new fans that we need to expand the festival again.
Do we really? Well, which one needs level 4, level 4, level 3? Well, that one.
Hey, Emile. There's a driver who's got a
Yeah,
bit of a
wonderful.
following. It might be worth bringing them into your
So,
lineup. They're somewhere in this area.
Let's actually get on with doing what I was supposed to do today, which is the street races. Now, if we want to just do it this way, there is 3 of them up here. So, I think that's all the street races unlocked. There's not a whole lot of them, in all honesty. But, yeah. So, there is, in the desert space, should we say 4? Do those ones as well? Yeah, sure, there's 4 of them, so we'll start with Gold Mine. But before that, of course, we do need to go ahead and get ourselves a car for today. So let's fast travel to the nearest festival site and get a car. Hopefully that doesn't put us at Yarra Valley, but I can imagine it will. What do we want to drive today? Needs to be something semi-street racing clad, I guess. Only makes sense, although a more basey level street racing car. There's 2 choices I have in my mind currently. I'm not sure which one of those I want to go ahead and pursue. Oh, I know what I want. I think it's time for another Subaru. More specifically, I think it's time for a very weird Subaru. I think it's time for the Subaru SVX. From 1996, which actually might be a DLC car, so I might not have to buy it. No, it isn't. Okay. Oh, it was a DLC car in Forza 6, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah. We'll go ahead and grab the SVX. That's kind of a cool livery. I kind of want something street race-esque, I guess. In fact, that's cool. I might go with that, actually. I had an idea for something I wanted, but that looks pretty cool as well. Does this pop up? Not quite what I wanted. RM bring anything up? No. Trying to remember how I found the previous one I used in Reach the Peak all the way back in the day. Ah, there we go. That's kind of a cool one. I like the purple. Although I did use the purple in whatchamacallit, so I might use something different. Might go for the green, actually, sure. Let's have the green Subaru SVX Gran Turismo 2 race mod in Horizon 3, but gloss over that. It's another car I can tick off my list now as well. Okay, so that's not the car I was planning on going with either way, but it's the car I've got now, so it'll do. And I'm thinking we probably will have to upgrade this a fair old amount to make it competitive with the street races. I don't know if the street races have PI classes. I'm just going to put this to A class and see what happens. What can we do? Put a turbocharged flat 4 in it, which is better in every single way. And to be honest with you, I'm not a huge fan of the flat 6 this car comes with from standard, so we will put that in. No real street race inspired bodywork for this car, so we'll just leave it as is. We will go ahead and yeah, we'll have race tyres. I don't know if I want to... Nah, the widths throw it quite far overboard. I might actually downgrade it to sport tyres and run the widths that way, maybe. Might be a better idea. Yeah. Okay, so that gives us a little bit of PI to throw into the engine, although actually I kind of want the suspension as well, which doesn't put us over the edge on PI. Just good. Brakes... They increase the PI a fair bit. Brakes should be okay on this car, I imagine. It's sort of semi-modern. We will go for that, and A800, exactly. I was about to say, can we get the brakes in, but obviously we won't be able to. We will go for the slightly lighter flywheel. Oh god, this car has a 4-speed automatic, doesn't it? Okay, never mind, we need to throw 2 PI out. Always the fun of Forza. 1 PI, please increase the weight. Ah, bollocks. Will you increase the weight? No. Damn it. Right, that drops us a fair bit. That drops us a little bit. Can we like stick an air filter in? I'll just stick the air filter in and then get a lightning bit. There we go. And then finally we will go ahead and have the drive shaft. £2,759, considering how much the SVX weighs by default, and that's actually quite a decent improvement, I would say. I think we probably need to go ahead and tune the car as well. Also, I've got a load of barn finds to pick up at some point. I'll remember to do that. I'm sure that's irritating someone. 4.2 seconds to 60. Subaru SVX. Let's do it. Oh, of course it's travelled. Oh, actually, no, never mind. That's Yarra Valley. That's fine. Right, this street race. I think we're exactly the same distance as we were previously from it, so let's go ahead and work ourselves up there in our mighty Subaru SVX, the Subaru Special Vehicle Experimental. Subaru's sort of attempt to change their image a little bit. They were sort of going through a sportier renaissance in the 90s, trying to get away from building sort of dull, reliable, all-wheel drive station wagons, which of course hipsters like now, like myself. Yeah, they wanted to move away from that. A few ways they managed to do that is, of course, with the Impreza lineup of cars, with the WRX, which would have come out in 92, and then later in 94, the STI, as well as the SVX, which was kind of designed to be like a grand touring sports coupe. Had Subaru's first flat six engine, which was interesting. Of course, the biggest crutch of this car, as many people will attest to these days, is the fact that it has an automatic gearbox only. And as much as I like automatic gearboxes personally, I don't really see much of an issue with it. The problem with the SVX's gearbox is it's a 4-speed automatic from the early 90s, because that's all they could put in it, because every other transmission they had would explode, which was not quite such a good thing. So that's kind of why the SVX was a little bit... I mean, people nowadays can swap manuals into them and stuff, and apparently they do relatively well under that, but that's why they had to make it a little bit more of a grand touring car. And also it was priced like a Porsche, which didn't really help either, considering it is a Subaru. Okay, so I'll probably have to cut quite a lot of this out. The Subaru SVX, the car we've got, I put some upgrades on it, and it isn't nearly competitive enough with upgrades. Do you know why? Because I forgot about this game's leading trope, the fact that it doesn't matter what you do, you need a lot of straight line speed because the tyres take up all of your PI. So I might have forgot about that, so we will just go for regular street tyres. I tried to put it on race tyres and then thought otherwise, and then just got monstered on straights. So I'm just going to put a lot of power into this at first, and then we'll come back and have a look at tyres in a bit. Yeah, I tried to make it light. I tried to build it like I normally would build a car, which is sensibly, but again, I forgot about this game's bollocks when it comes to building cars. I.e., fuck you, is basically the way this game has you build cars, which I don't like, but it is what it is. Alright, there we go. That will probably do us. Money I didn't particularly want to spend, but there you go. We now have 437 horsepower and 3,130 pounds of weight. Before I was running about 300 horsepower and 2,500 pounds of weight, which meant it handled okay, but just didn't have enough power. So now it's not going to handle okay, then it's going to have just about enough power. Anyways, let's go ahead and get to the street race that we are supposed to be doing. Okay, so here we are back at the street race. I just realised I'm probably going to cut what I just said and keep the previous part in and all the rest of it. Yeah, the Subaru was nowhere near quick enough, so needed some upgrades to make it quicker, and now we have that, and we'll see what happens. So, street racing in this game, what is it? It is ostensibly just normal races, but you have the new added issue of traffic being in these races, as you can see. Yeah, it's essentially just a normal race with traffic and also the Horizon sponsored bits moved out of the way, so that's fun. yeah, this car handles nowhere near as nicely as it did when I ran it on my lovely sports tyres and all the rest of it, but I've had to completely gut out the car, redo it, turbochargers, and all the rest of it. You'll probably see in like some sped up montage I might do. I don't know how I'm going to edit this yet. Hopefully I remember to edit it properly. So, yeah, I'm already not liking this one. Again, least favourite Horizon game, so maybe this game's like, no, I will prove to you why you hate this game so much. And it's like, yeah, thanks. Anyways, try to brake to avoid going into that shed or whatever it is, little control piece. There you go, there's some traffic, smashed into it. Yeah, the AI can also smash into traffic, as you've probably seen. Their avoidance ability is alright. I mean, it's not particularly great. I will say, those of you who rely on the traffic to keep you ahead probably are going to be slightly disappointed, because much like in every other game ever to exist, the way traffic spawns is it spawns when you're sort of coming towards that direction. So if the AI is ridiculously far in front, they're not going to be held up by traffic, because traffic won't spawn, if that makes sense. Also, as you can see, this Audi TT is almost as quick as my SVX, so that's nice. And also the SVX is very understeery now, but again, there's absolutely nothing I can do about that, because I'm not allowed to. Please have enough straight line speed to just monster this Audi in a minute. Yeah, okay. Apparently this sort of mid-range pull, about 110 to 140, is where the SVX is up in its prime. Good on it. Yeah, we're gonna do it now, finally. So yeah, essentially the rest of this race is just a long old drive down to the end of the motorway. You can see a little bit of the Surfers Paradise skyline in the background there. How nice. Jesus Christ, okay, this thing is quite a bit quicker than it was before. Before it was barely getting into 6th gear, and now it can do about 190, which is nice. Alrighty. The freaks come out at night. The street races come out at night. Yes, you do not earn fans from the street races either. Again, they're sort of separately dealt with in their own little strand of missions. And also there's midnight battles, which are interesting. That's probably going to be the main format of this. Of course, I mentioned playing it by sort of sections of the map, and I still plan to do that, but the midnight battles are sort of our main anchor points. There is 4 of them, I believe, overall, so that should be something fun to look forward to. A good old midnight battle. Not Wangan midnight battle. After all, it isn't driving around in circles aimlessly for hours on end, hence why I hate those games. But, well, actually no, Wangan Midnight I think is like a arcade game, not TXR. TXR I don't like, I can tell you that for free. Wangan Midnight I think is his own thing. I'm not sure. All I know is I bought a thing for my PlayStation Classic recently, which has one of those games on it. Ooh. It helps when you see the puddle. Of course I did not see the puddle then. Highway Loop, again, another straight line speed race, but for our new and improved SVX, that is not an issue. So that's good. Yeah, these street races, they're pretty fun. They're sort of... They don't really do much. I guess they add a little bit to the game, but, you know. Oh, I thought the game was crashed for a second. So. Alright, there is... you can sort of see why Boost has a bit of an issue with these sort of street race events now. The cars that show up to them aren't particularly street racy per se. I mean, to be fair, this field isn't too bad, but even still, there's a giant Rally Raid Mini there, and a Lexus. I remember back in Horizon 1, I'll take that. Back in Horizon 1, there was a lot more diversity with the cars. They were sort of actual street racy cars with modifications and stuff. In this game, it just uses the same old driver task system as every other event. And what that means is occasionally you'll get like rally raid cars and sanctioned vehicles, sort of the Hot Wheels, Rip Rod back there as well. Which, even to this day, I'm not sure I'm much a fan of the Rip Rod, in all honesty. I don't mind it too much in the motorsport games because it sort of doesn't really appear unless you go for an unlimited class race, but in something like this, seeing those cars in normal gameplay, I guess you could say it ruins your immersion a little bit, but yeah, I'd say it actually does slightly. So I know a lot of people disagree with me. I personally do not like the Hot Wheels expansion for this game either. Blizzard Mountain was excellent, and then Hot Wheels, it's one of the only expansions for a Forza game I've never actually like fully gone through and 100%ed. Well, that and the Lego World for Horizon 4, but unlike Hot Wheels, I actually plan to go through the Lego World at some point, because the Lego one is actually semi-interesting. It's just there's not enough content to justify spending money on it there. But in terms of the Hot Wheels one, it's a little bit sort of less. There's just not a lot to the Hot Wheels expansion, other than, you know, big jump, super speed, which is fine, until you realise every single car that you ever drive in those events, you have to build it exactly the same way. I will probably end up doing a LP on. I've mentioned before about doing an LP of Horizon expansions, sort of in one longish marathon setting. That might be something for next year. So yeah, maybe keep an eye out for that. But of course, Horizon Rally, Storm Island for Horizon 2. I'm not going to count the Porsche because the Porsche was more for cars. And then Blizzard Mountain, Hot Wheels, and then obviously maybe the two Horizon 4 ones actually. I mean, I actually need to do an LP of Horizon 4 as well at some point, which would probably help that one along. Anyways, there we go. There's another win for the SVX. That one, thankfully, a lot less disputed. We are going to level up. We're going to get a wheel spin. Can't say I really care what we get out of this. Thank God it wasn't the Weeb car. I will take 90k. That probably pays for the modifications I've had to do to the SVX, the twice I've had to do it. So, that's all well and good.
I should warn you, we're hearing rumors of an underground syndicate operating out here that runs midnight battles. One race, two drivers, winner takes the loser's ride. We're still investigating, but we definitely do not want to get involved in that scene, do we? Boss, do we?
No, I can't speak, because the game told me I can't. Right, so if the midnight battle's down there, what I am thinking is we should head down there and knock these two out on the way there. That ends up over there. That ends up back in the desert, so we'll go do that one first. Alright, let's go ahead and get to that one. Do I have fast travel anywhere? No. I can't remember if you have to pay for that in this game or unlock it with skill points. Speaking of which, we should actually probably end up spending some of those. I kind of want the fast travel anywhere, which is... ooh, we actually almost have enough for that. Fun-dabby dozy. I'll be able to... oh yeah, I get fast travel free as well. That's actually a good point. Actually, no, the festival's only there, so it doesn't really make that much of a difference. Let's try and earn enough skill points on the way there so we can do fast travel anywhere. Because we've pretty much seen all the Horizon map has to offer. Is that Lexus modified? Or are the rear exhausts on the ISF just that ugly by default? I don't remember. Apparently I certainly have not gone through and done that speed trap properly. Although I did on the main account. Which shouldn't surprise you. I think I went through on the main account in a Koenigsegg 1-to-1 and did all those bits and bobs, so that should explain that one. It's a lot of lights for the oil refinery at night. You wouldn't think they'd have that many lights on stuff, but maybe they do, and I'm just being stupid. I almost killed an MX-5 there. Probably best I don't kill MX-5s. They are slightly irritating and a bit smug looking at times, but, you know. Not an excuse to kill one, I don't think. Actually, reminds me as well. Okay, yeah, I must have taken care of the barn finds last time round. I couldn't remember if I had done or not. But no, apparently I have taken care of the barn finds. Again, I do need to collect them. That might be something for the next episode. We might end up going ahead and start grabbing some of those, because, yeah, there's like 4 in events. I think one of the cars I want to use for this is a barn find as well, so might be an idea to go ahead and pull that one. Stop hitting trees with the arse end of the car, that would probably be a good idea. Seems like it hurt. Purple BMW. Quite a nice purple on that BMW, actually. I applaud you, sir, on your choice of BMW colours. It's wonderful. Right. There's that drift Nissan Sylvia that Angel's driving, apparently. Can't remember whose livery that is. Ooh. There we go. Oh, we haven't grabbed all the barn finds. Apparently I blocked them off the map, so we've actually got 2 to get as well. Alright, that's something to work on at some point. Lots of things to do in the world of Horizon 3, of course. Although, once you've beaten the game, there's not really all that much to do. But for now, there's stuff to do. We need to go ahead and do the street races, grab the barn finds, and then I think we'll only have a few more episodes to go as we level up the festivals. Ew, we got rain for this one. And also a Honda with quite a nice livery on it. What is this? A good livery on a Honda? Let's go. Again, yeah, Rolls-Royce showing up to a street race. I mean, don't doubt for a second it could happen, but I doubt it. There's also a Lamborghini concept car up there as well. That probably would not show up to a normal street race. I mean, I know Lamborghini's mad, but I don't think they're mad enough to take the shiny new SUV concept car, or what was the shiny SUV concept car. Of course, since we've seen the Urus launch properly, not a particularly... Well, actually, I mean, it's not a bad-looking car. I've seen one in real life. I thought it was an Audi, but no, it was actually an Urus. But what's the difference? Haha. Oh god. Random Fiat 500 I'd forgotten about. And just lost all my skill points. I need those skill points. I need to be able to fast travel to places to make this game simpler. I think that might have been one of my tactics in Horizon 2. I just got bored and started fast travelling anyway. It's pretty much what happens in these games. I don't mind exploring and all the rest of it, but eventually I just get to the point where I just want to press a point on the map and fast travel. Makes everything a bit shorter. A little bit more concise, which I like. This is actually quite a fun little street race here. Going down some mountain roads. Fuck you, Honda. Although, fuck me, apparently. Okay, maybe I shouldn't fight with the Honda. Sorry, Honda. You should know I'm a big fan of you, but... Transit. Fucking goddamn. It's rainy and this car understeers like a pig, which doesn't help. Unfortunately, the way of making it not understeer like a pig, I'm not allowed to do, because I'm not allowed to have, you know, a normal car in this game. I have to make it ridiculously straight line speed orientated, or else the game will take away all of my ability to compete, which is lovely. Almost any other Forza game, you build a car handling first. In this game, you build a car power first, and then you figure out what handling parts you can actually stick on it without breaking the game. I would not like to be in that Type R when going over that bump. I've heard Type Rs are very, very rough in terms of their suspension geometry. Although the newer ones apparently are a lot nicer. Come on. Oh god. I don't like this. There's a reason I don't like it, because I'm not going to win. Right, let's see where we can actually pick up the fucking rear end of the car. I apologise if you want to sit there and call this cheating and boring and whatever, but let's be honest, if I don't win this race, I'm just going to cut this part, so it doesn't really matter to you. Fuck off. Right. Watch this actually be a restart. There we go. Fuck off over there. Oh, fuck me. This is not a fun episode. I don't know if you can tell. This has not been a fun episode to record and do and all the rest of it. The game apparently just doesn't like me at the moment. Which is fine. I don't like me, but, you know, even still. There we go. Right. Wonderful. Now that that's sorted, my own favourite car portrayed me... Well, one of my favourites, I should say. It's not... A Civic Type R is not my all-time favourite car, however, it's certainly up there. I adore the 2015 Type R. Actually, I remember when the 2015 Type R came out in this game, and I proceeded to go ahead and basically drive it constantly, to the point where I believe I completed the entirety of Blizzard Mountain in the Civic Type R alone. How many skill points do I have? 13 still. Bollocks. I think I need 2 more to unlock that fast travel anywhere. I was kind of hoping to bank the ones that I got in the previous race, but that never came to fruition, unfortunately. Skill points also in this game level up a hell of a lot slower than they do in Horizon 4, although in Horizon 4, of course, you do need a lot more skill points. In this game, it's essentially a race to get to the end of the skill points tree and you'll be fine. Whereas in Horizon 4, obviously, the whole point of that game is that each car has its own skill tree that you level up, so... Which, I mean, I don't know. I kind of like it. It made me a lot of money when they gave us the skill points refund when they ended up wiping all the skill trees from cars, because I got like 6,200 of them. Which essentially meant I could buy every single wheel spin and money perk in the game, which is what I did. So, hence why I have a lot of money in Horizon 4. And in case there's ever a Horizon 4 video that comes out, although I don't think I'll be making any more of them, if you see the fact that I've got like 150 million credits, that's why. Essentially, I've just been able to milk the level up thing because they gave us more skill points, so I took advantage of it. So that's good. Now I have no skill points, but even still. God, this game takes forever to load. Synchronizing drive avatars is something it really doesn't need to do, unless it's just using that phrase to cover up a something in the code. Not sure. What I am sure about is we're essentially racing the same cars over and over again. I've seen my Jag a million times. I've seen that Hot Wheels thing a few times. I certainly remember this Lotus Evora. I certainly remember that because this car's giving us quite a bit of trouble. Well, did when the SVX was not a full straight line speed car. That was a car which kept overtaking me. It's kind of embarrassing to be overtaken by a Lotus, in all honesty, considering they're not really built for the whole straight line speed thing. Although I guess the Evora is probably more biased towards straight line speed than anything, considering it's not a massively light car. It's lighter than its 2+2 rivals, but there's not many 2+2 rivals for it. Don't be a dick. Apparently everyone's just trying to be a dick. Traffic car. See, some of these can be quite fun when sort of traffic cars are buzzing past you and you're having to pay attention to them. It gets quite fun there, but like I said, all in all, the street racing portion of this game, I don't think it was handled particularly well. Again, making you do 50 head-to-heads, not really what I want or like, or yeah, none of that. So, not something I particularly enjoyed doing, I do have to say. But you know, it's the way they decide to do it. I think in Horizon 4 they unlock organically, I want to say. I can't really remember, but I think that's the way they do it. It's been a while since I've played through Horizon 4. It's actually been a year, because I think that game's a year old now. I say a year, actually, I got the Ultimate Edition, which was like a few days early access as well, so... It's been more than a few days, it's been, or a few months, it's been probably more than a year by now, so... Whatever I said, I don't remember. And, okay, another 90 grand. I'm not going to complain, another 90 grand, because, again, the car cost... That's probably covered the car cost, so... No complaints from me there.
In the shop today, this bloke comes up to me, gets right up in my face, says he's got a message for you. One race, head-to-head, midnight tonight. He's staked his car if you can beat him. How cool is that? I felt like I was in one of those movies.
Wonderful. Midnight Battle, 1997 BMW M3. So yeah, the Midnight Battles, what happens now, although you will see it in a minute, is we go up to this guy, and if we win a car. Or more specifically, you could probably tell from the way that was written, the 1997 BMW M3. I'm having to stop myself saying GTR at the end of that. I don't really know why. That's not usually an issue I have, but there you go. Come on, level up those skill points. I want to be able to fast travel anywhere by the next episode. It'll make my life a hell of a lot easier and simple. Make this go by a lot quicker. Not saying I don't want to spend any time with you lot, of course. It's always nice to sit here and ramble to you all, but, you know, man's got to be places. I should actually also collect those at some point. I think I've started collecting a few of them, but I can't remember if that's true or not. I remember there was a bunch of stuff I did on the live stream. I can't remember what it was. The only things I remember for certain is doing some PR stunts, which is why I was... Obviously you didn't see it, but before today's episode I was in a Subaru thing. Like a Subaru rally car, not this. And that's usually what I use to do the heavier PR stunts at the moment. That's what I use to collect all the billboards. When I had to collect billboards at one time, so... Yeah, it's a pretty well modified car, which is why I use it for that as well. Wait, wait.
Turn left. In 200 yards.
1.3 miles to go.
Keep right.
Rev it out, of course, natural. So I'm guessing, if I'm coming all the way down to Byron Bay for this midnight battle, I will probably end up starting the next episode in Byron Bay. So that should be fun. So I'll do the street races down in Byron Bay, and then hopefully we'll work our way up to Yarra Valley and then finally Surfers Paradise. Again, there's 4 of these midnight battles. You might have noticed when I completed that last race, there was a thing showing up for another midnight battle. There's the car. You can't see it, because we are in pitch black, because we are street racing. There it is. In its Liberty Bunny kit. Stay down. It's supposed to be serious. I might use that for the thumbnail, actually. Not what just happened, I'll just come back through and re-get the thumbnail. It'll be like some Carbon Canyon shit, you know what I'm saying? Anyways, these races aren't particularly complicated. The only thing I remember about these races is you essentially have to guess what the PI of the car will be. The PI of the car you're racing does not adjust to your car's PI. So, for example, as much as this 97 BMW is... I believe it would usually be like a B-class car, maybe a C-class, but for the purposes of this challenge, I believe he is near enough A-class, which is sort of why I built this car to A-class. Completely wasn't luck based, not at all. And then of course, like the next few, there's like one where you race against a supercar. I won't ruin what supercar, but you race against, of course, traffic car sponsor. You race against a supercar, and that's obviously like S2995, I think his PI is. So you need something, which is of course S2 class. See, that would have worked if you'd pushed me into a solitary. Unfortunately, you didn't, so joke's on you, buddy. Anyways. Oh, that's why he's turning right. There's a corner there. Duh. I thought he was like trying to overtake or something like that. I've never seen him do that before. Let's see if we can work our way past this BMW. Push him into the grass a little bit, but... Transit! I think that transit might have thrown the BMW off a bit. That's another cool thing you can do with these street races. You can sort of use the traffic. If you're ahead, you can use them almost like the old... Maybe you could do that in Burnout? I don't remember. If you could like rob traffic cars at people. I guess you could like push them into traffic cars, but you know, utilise the traffic to stop them, I guess. So there we go. Oh, the BMW is like S1802. Never mind. Either way, not particularly difficult. What is cool is you get these little sort of different bits here, little cutscenes, delivered to your garage.
A body kit that wide on a car this fast. It's a wonder this thing doesn't take off. I'll just keep it in the garage, shall I?
So an interesting thing to note about that, despite what was just said there, the car does not come to you pre-modified from what I remember. They might have adjusted that in a patch, but if we go ahead and go to cars, where is it? Yeah, no, it just comes to you sort of bone stock, so that's something to note. Also, the midnight battles don't count towards the main street racing portion of the game. Anyways, thank you all very much for watching. This has been a long episode. This should be a fun one to edit through. Next time I'm going to be setting at some more of these street races, so join us for that. Until then, farewell.